Oh, baby.
Go, gadget methadone dispenser.
I put gin on top of my gin.
And I already am shaved with discomfort in all of that holes.
A collection of short stories by Judy
Blair. You ever smell the inside of a hat?
I liked it. It smelled like you.
Craigslist for hookers.
Craigslist?
No, but worse than that.
Zig and Larry ignore a topic. The best parts of hanging out with these guys. Without the hangover.
Hey, Sweet Pea, what's going down?
My sanity. That's what's going down, buddy. How are you?
Welcome to Zig and Larry Ignore a Topic, where every week we come to you after fighting technology for 100,000 years.
Yes.
If there is a God, which we all know we have different opinions on, I sound different this time. Hopefully you can hear me better. We've had a lot of complaints over the interwebs that I am a little bit quiet when we record.
And I'm loud as fuck.
And that's going to be a little bit more technology-driven than personality. Because in reality, I'm a loud prick. And you can't shut me up.
And I'm a loud prick when I get enough moonshine and whiskey in me.
Speaking of which, today's Zig and Larry... hit us up at zigandlarryignore-a-topic@gmail.com if you want to yell at us some more about the fact that I'm quiet. Or, as I'm going to do at the top of the show, Larry, I'm going to remember at the top of the show.
Yay!
Subscribe to our YouTube channel! Zig and Larry Ignore a Topic is a YouTube channel now, where you can listen to basically the exact same thing as now, but you can subscribe to our channel. And that makes us happy. And very soon, we're going to be adding extra content on there, and you'll be able to see what we look like.
Yep.
You probably were looking for that 3 weeks ago. But
yeah.
It wasn't for you then.
Yeah, once I learn how to edit video better than I do already, which just kind of looks like an ape with a speaking spell. I just hit buttons until I go, it worked good.
Somebody gave Coco a kitten.
Pet the kitten, love the kitten. So yeah, this is. Hey Zig, do I sound okay? Am I sounding echoey or anything?
I can never tell. I'm also half deaf in one ear. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
I'm mostly deaf in my left ear, yeah. More than half.
Well, excellent. Hey, yeah. The other part we forgot to mention. Like, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a rating.
Podcasts are sold.
Because that helps us. The ratings helps us out quite a bit. Also... message us. We'll give you our addresses. You can send us whiskey.
Absolutely. I will absolutely give you Larry's address.
Yeah, bring it on. Today is one of those... I was so frustrated trying to figure out this sound issue, and God knows, it may still not be resolved. It may still sound like shit. I don't know. But I was
not even recording this.
Yeah,
it's entirely...
The light is red, and the numbers are moving, which to me... says we're 5 by 5, but yeah, I was so angry and so frustrated. I walk upstairs and Nicole went to say something, and I was on my way to the bathroom anyway. I just put my hand up, but my finger was shaking. Like I was so angry, but she's like, you were super quiet and your fists were like shaking. She goes, that's when I know you've hit that level of angry. And she's like, I did hear you yell once from downstairs. She goes, but I'll tell you right now, if it was me, I'd be in tears. I said, well, that's the part you didn't see, is me sitting down here in the danger dungeon crying to myself because I can normally muscle things out. You know,
well, that's the problem. This is not like putting a carriage bolt into a couple of holes that are being ornery. Yeah. This is technology. And our typical we'll fix it in post is a nice call, but there's usually people to fix it in post.
Yeah.
So between you and I, it'll get fucked in post.
I'll do my best in post.
I'll get frustrated and say to hell with it in post. I went to the fucking post office again. I don't know why. I'm like a battered woman. I just keep going back, and I keep telling everybody, you don't know him when he's not around. It's fucking horrible.
He's so sweet.
Well, the problem is my niece and my nephew, their goddamn birthdays are a month apart, so I know I have to go in December for the Christmas presents. Then I have to go in February for one. Then March for the other one. Oh, thank God I don't actually have to send these kids. I'm going to send them stuff, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
Just this one was actually fine. If you remember from the Christmas episode where the self-service device, the kiosk, the machine, wasn't working, and I had my big Braveheart moment. And it fell on deaf ears because everybody's soul was already destroyed.
Yes, yeah.
I walked in. The machine is still broken. I don't know if it's still or again. And then I just waited in a line. Well, and I got all the way up to the front, and right in front of me is somebody who does not, bless them, speak English at all. And they were attempting to get a passport, even though they were not a citizen. I believe that was what was going on.
Sure.
That's what I gleaned. The person in front of me was, I'm going to say Okinawan and 98 years old. I don't know. And couldn't have been more sweet, but easily 4'11". And that's a thing. That's a grown person who's 4'11". Kept saying they finally got to the point where passport hours on a Saturday. They're like, yes. Yeah, you can get your passport. Okay. Do you have any ID? And he just like went off on a tirade in some language that did not register on my radar at all. And he threw up what looked like WW2 like war, like it's like this was his like honorable discharge from the big one. And he slapped it down. I'm like, I'm trying to send a video game to my 12-year-old nephew for his birthday. The self-serve kiosk isn't working anymore. I know it's going to cost $4. Can I just throw $4 through a window, toss this thing at somebody's head? They're going to accept it. They're going to know that something hits them in the head, like, put it in the mail. No, I get to watch. And all I know is finally they said, wait at the next window. He doesn't understand. They put the person at the next window, finally. Guess what? There's nobody at that window. There's nobody at any of the windows. There's 9 windows. No, I'm exaggerating. There are 5. There's one person working a window, and he's just standing there with his like weird brown papers in a different language going, passport? I don't think that's how it works, pal.
I have picture. I have paper. Passport.
Yes, this is a picture. I can't do an Okinawan accent, but it's just like...
And you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
No, he's just like, he's got a whole bunch of stuff, and for some reason he decided he needs a passport. I don't. One could have very easily have been a Japanese birth certificate. I don't know. Or he could have just played with a home calligraphy kit on tea paper. I'm not certain.
His survey says both.
He could have thought he was talking to Napoleon, for all I know. I don't think the guy had an issue, though. But he was on a mission.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. How did it feel, though, to feel tall?
I would say it's the same feeling I get when I masturbate to Willy Wonka, but only to the Oompa Loompa stuff.
Sure.
And that's just because on top of their green fucking hair. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, you're giving them streaks for cheap.
All right, let's be honest. I've only done that twice, and only in my 40s, 30s, 20s.
and that's why I'm not allowed in Chuck E. Cheese.
No, Chuck E. Cheese is fucking closed down, man.
Yeah, thank Christ, it is time. That place was a hellscape.
Yeah, it was cool when you were a kid.
My kids hated Chuck E. Cheese. Every time they were like, they'd get invited to a birthday party, they'd be like, where is it? I'd be like, it's a Chuck E. Cheese. They're like, I hate Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, your kids developed a soul much earlier than most kids.
Yeah, I've always said Gideon has been like an old Frenchman since he was about 4 years old, just sitting around the playground, just smoking, being like, look at them. They disgust me.
He's a bouncing baby proletariat. Congratulations, man.
Life is meaningless. But occasionally I do like to kick the ball. Alright, it brings me some joy.
When I was a kid, it was Showbiz Pizza. But that's the same thing, right?
It's just animatronic. Speaking of animatronic hellscapes, there is a new Nick Cage movie coming out. I sent you the trailer for that, didn't I?
We send a lot of stuff back and forth, and we are different levels of drunk, so I am not responsible for remembering everything we send back and forth.
Willy's Wonderland. It takes.
No.
It takes. I could have sworn I sent that to you.
You very easily could have.
Well, and it was probably at 1 a.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
Or 4 p.m. on a Wednesday.
I'm
Either
sure
way.
I enjoyed it at the time, but...
A quiet drifter is tricked into a janitorial job at the now-condemned Willy's Wonderland. The mundane tasks suddenly become an all-out fight for survival against wave after wave of demonic animatronics. Fists fly, kicks land, titans clash, and only one side will make it out alive. I have never been more excited for a movie.
The financial downfall of Nicholas Coppola has been one of my favorite things ever, because he does so many just wackadoo things right now, but it seems like he just straight up enjoys it. Like, he's just like, yeah, absolutely. Just, what does it pay? That's fine. I used to own a Tyrannosaurus skull. Did you know that? Yeah, I fucking did. What do I have to be now? I'm going to be a 16-year-old on a skateboard? You bet your sweet ass. I'm doing all my own stunts, bitch! I'm 16!
Well, the best part of this trailer is when he's mopping the floor and one of the animatronics sneaks up on him, and he turns, and it, like, the demonic animatronic, its eyes get wide as if to say, oh shit, and then he breaks the mop and beats the thing to death as blood flies everywhere. And I was like, I am in, because my guess, the kids and I watched the trailer, and they're like, we have to watch this movie, because they love shit like that the way I do. And Gideon and I decided that they didn't tell Nicolas Cage it was a movie. They just said, hey, this is a documentary. We understand you need the money. We're going to hire you as a janitor, and then we're just going to have cameras in. We just need you to be Nicolas Cage. And he was like, all right, I can do that. And then my Nicolas Cage is the same exact voice I use for my Keanu Reeves.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah. Except you don't hear Keanu yell very often. You do hear Nicolas Cage scream a lot.
That is his Meisner. That's his an actor prepares. It's just scream for no reason. You know what? I've embraced it, because Nick Cage he used to want to make 5-star dining. Then he's like, you know what? I'll do food truck. And then he's like, you know what? It's edible. Give it to people who you care about a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Chef Boyardee. You'll be fine. But you like Chef Boyardee? Like, yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah, just ramen it up, bitch. Eat that crap.
Exactly. Church it up a little bit, you're going to be happy. That's and you know what? I want to see Mandy, too, because that looks batshit crazy. It's like post-apocalyptic, I think, and a band of roving cannibal bikers steals his wife. And then he creates the ultimate blade, because he's a blacksmith, and he creates, like, the ultimate blade, and then goes after them and kills them all.
He's doing, like, what, a dozen movies a year? He's like, I'll do it if it takes a month.
Yeah.
What does it pay? I'll do it if it takes a month.
I love it. I'm in for every bit of it. Speaking of movies, have you seen the new Coming to America?
I just watched it! Yes!
I love... Now, here's what I'll say. Is it a good movie?
No.
Is it fun?
Yes.
Is it a beautiful homage to the original?
Yes, because I love the original. That's what it was.
Yep.
They made fun of themselves even in the middle, where they're talking like, don't do a sequel. I mean, it's 30 years later.
Yeah, exactly. No one asked for this. No one wanted this. Why are we doing it? Well,
but the first one has such a place in my heart, because it was... I can't remember... I know that the first time I ever saw boobies was on the TV, and it was either Coming to America or it was Trading Places. At either one of those, I'll have Eddie Murphy. I'm like, dude,
Well, and do you remember in Coming to America, the Duke brothers are in Coming to America?
Colin Jost being their, like, nephew or grandson.
Yes, yeah.
They found And I love that Colin Jost can make fun of himself for being the whitest human being on the planet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, that whole movie, there were I almost had a moment where I was mad at it. Like, I almost had a moment where I was like, this isn't, and then I was like, no, it's not the original. It's not going to be the original. They wanted to come back and have one more story and play some of your favorite characters one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit back, and it's comfort food.
Exactly.
The first Coming to America is a brilliant piece of cinema. It's hilarious, it's fun, it's making social commentary, it was groundbreaking. We were looking up some of the trivia. Did you know the reason Louis Anderson was in that movie is because the studio forced them to have one white person?
Oh, I did not know that, but sure.
They were like, no, you have to have at least one white person, and we'd like to have a white stand-up comic. And Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall went, cool, we like Louis. Let's put Louis in here. Because they knew Louis wasn't going to be like, hey, let's be whackety schmackety. They were just going to be like, all right, Louis, do this in this scene. And he was going to go, all right. And that's it.
Louis at his old age has been popping up like a lot of places. In Baskets, in Search Party.
Yeah, what I love is in Baskets, he is the mom.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play it goofy. He just plays it, he plays it straight. And which makes it funnier. And yeah, and he said he's just essentially playing his own mother.
Okay.
He's like, my inspiration for playing this character is playing my mom. And I was like, that's really cool. That's really cool. But yeah, I love that Louis was in the sequel, of course.
Barely, but still, he needs money, and he's got to be I said 90 years old. I had to double check. I felt so bad, but so elated, because I was positive, and maybe this is Mandela effect, I was positive that James Earl Jones was dead. I really thought that he's an old man, he's 90,
Dude,
I looked him up.
Nicole said the same thing. She's like, I thought he had died already.
I thought he passed away. No, he's still kicking. He is 90, though, so, like, you know, I'm not outside of the realm of reality there.
No.
But, like, I had a moment where, because Ange does not do anything with, like, you know, old Conan movies or Darth Vader. So I saw him. I'm like, how long ago did they record this? When was this filmed? It's like, what? I looked it up, and she, from the other side of the couch, I went, James Earl Jones is still alive. She's like, good for you and him? Yes, exactly.
Yes, good for us.
Darth Vader's still alive. It makes me happy. Yes. Leave me alone.
But yeah, the fucking outtakes with Morgan Freeman.
How much of their fucking budget did they spend on Morgan Freeman? Eddie Murphy, he commands some bucks, but Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
even for a date rate.
Well, and people stopped fucking. Wait, hold on. What was
What's
the
the
line? They stopped having sex. But yeah, that and God, just to see. Well, because Nicole had never seen the first Coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
And so we watched it because she's like, I want to see the sequel, but obviously I've got to watch the first one. And so we watched it Friday night, and she said she was laughing so hard. One, it's a funny movie, but she said,
yeah.
Two, me, you, and Jeff had been quoting that movie so much.
It's one of those, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that she's like, I felt like I had seen the movie already. Just and now it's in sequential order, and I understand in context where all of this comes from. But like, the past 2 days, all I've gotten from her is, what do you know from funny, you bastard?
I love that they put all those characters back in, who obviously were old at the time. It's 30 years later. No, they're still there. Yeah, they've aged appropriate. No, but we can't let them go.
Yeah, Saul was old in 30 years ago.
If you're really going to be worried about it, yeah, he is 120 years old.
Yes.
110.
I loved that movie so much. Like Lou from Guilty Pleasures
Mm-hmm.
that we were on, go check out Guilty Pleasures, Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man from the Front Row Network, with our buddy Lou. But he had
Keeps
put
us in check
he did a good job.
as best as anybody could.
What I like though on the when we were doing the round table, Lou cursed first to let us know it was okay.
Oh, the floodgates were opened. Because you never can tell. You want to be respectful of somebody else's show. But as soon as he did, I was like, ha ha, here we go. How many cunts can I squeeze into this goddamn hour?
Well, that's why when I interview people on my NPR show, I'm like, we put an explicit on it, and it's fine. People know what they're in. If you want to curse, fucking curse. I don't care. If it's too much, somebody will be like, "Can we bleep those out?" And I'll be like, "Here's the file. You do it. I'm not making the time." But that was though. I was surprised that the first Coming to America is rated R, but the second one was PG-13.
Well, the first one had boobies,
and a lot of fucks.
yeah, and that was actually one of the things that I was curious about, from like a how does society change? Just what is cool, and this is so weird. It's a very specific thing, but it resonated with me when I was a child. The bathers in the first one in the 80s. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. If you hadn't seen it, this is what the first time I saw the boobies was Prince Akeem. He's in his bath, which is basically it's a pool.
It's an Olympic-sized pool.
Yeah, but a very attractive woman comes up from it, and she's holding a loofah. She's obviously just serviced him, and she says, "The royal penis is clean, Your Highness."
It's the sigh he gives afterward is great.
Yeah, you don't. You can't get away with that anymore unless you allow Leslie Jones, who is a brilliant actress, comedian in her 50s, to accept the same thing. And they did it that way to introduce the fact that it's still the same thing in Zimbabwe. It's weird how they didn't ignore it, but they knew they had to address it because it's not okay anymore, But why is it okay for a 50-year-old woman where it's not okay for a 23-year-old man? I don't get it, but it was hysterical, and I thought they handled it very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't get the ins and outs. I'm totally stupid about it, but anything that gets Leslie Jones off, I'll keep paying Amazon for that. I love her to death. She's hysterical.
Well, and they did an amazing rendition of Get Off.
Yeah. They added a lot of weird musical things in there.
I was okay with it.
Were you?
I was totally okay with whatever you want to do. Honestly, I was, again, once I got past that initial, well, but, and it really was like me in my head going, well, but, and then I stopped myself and I was like, no, don't be that asshole. Don't be that asshole. You're not going to be, just enjoy this for what it is. And it's like what I was about to say, Lou was like, they could not have pandered to me harder, and I loved every second of it. And it's those of us that grew up with that movie and loved that movie, and yeah, first time you probably saw boobies was in that movie, and the first time you learned about some things, the royal penis is clean. It took me a couple viewings before I went, oh, the royal penis is clean. Got it. But it, it was nostalgia, and they cleaned it up a little bit. I dug it. I thought it was a great flick.
I thought it was totally on board with it.
Is it good? No. Is it fun as hell? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, it's a gordita of movies.
Yeah, it is. It is a gordita of movies.
And sometimes you just want a goddamn gordita.
You do. Yeah, you know what? I got real sick on gorditas one time, so I can't.
I'm looking at you. You look like you have a memory.
I do. I got. I'm pretty sure I got food poisoning. And it was one of the few. It was one of the handful. I say few times. One of the handful of times I had a high enough fever to hallucinate.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. I painted the inside of that poor hotel room. I did my best to keep it contained, but oof to doodles, did we have some messy times.
Yeah.
And I just apologized a lot because I had to have people come get me, retrieve me from where I was. There was no alcohol involved. That's why I'm pretty sure it was food poisoning, because and I look at a gordita now and I'm like, that looks. If you heard that thumping, that was my coaster falling to the ground because it was stuck to the bottom of my glass. Today's been a great fucking day.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we're going to totally jump topics here. My wife and I have been playing Find the Smell, which is a game that Dave Attell coined about 20 years ago, and we've failed.
Oh, no.
We live in a very, very nice, exposed brick, 2-bedroom place in Chicago. I love this joint. There is a smell, but it's in the hallway. So it's like there's 2 doors, okay? There's a door that goes, there's several doors, but in the hallway, the 2 doors, one goes to the bathroom, one goes to the office, okay? And they're right next to each other. If you're in the hallway, before you go to either of them, there's a smell of dog shit. But if you go into the bathroom, it subsides. If you go into the office, it subsides. She was trying to blame me because I spent a lot of time in the office, and I also work out in here. She's like, it smells like shit. I'm like, hold on, yes, you're right. But I'm like, no. I'm playing Sherlock Holmes the home game here because it's in the fucking hallway. She's like, oh. And she could smell better than me because she never smoked. She's like, I don't. I'm like, it's right here. There's nowhere to find the smell, so I'm guessing something has died in the walls.
It's that nice Polish guy that built your deck.
No, the problem is I know what wall I put him in, and it wasn't this one.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I have no idea. I think that something's weird in the wall. It's killing me. You walk into any room and it's gone, but you walk between the rooms, it's like you feel like the dog shit somewhere.
Do you have any outlets or light covers, like light switch covers in that hallway?
Yes.
Take that off, and I know this sounds... Take off, is it an outlet?
No, I've got light switches.
Okay. Take those off and just... I know this sounds crazy. Stick your nose in the hole and give it a smell, and see if you can start pinpointing where it is.
You know what? That joke is so easy. I'm going to let the audience play Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, you feel that...
I'm not going to make a joke. Put your nose in the hole and go from there.
And figure out the oopsie.
It's somewhere. It's so weird, man. I don't know. It's driving me up the wall.
That is... Well, do you have baseboards along the wall in the hallway?
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean,
know.
In order to finish an apartment, you got to have some.
Yeah.
If it depends on how they finish the drywall, you might have to. And I know it's your own place. You could call a maintenance and be like, "Why does it smell like shit in my hallway?" But you may have to get to that where you're pulling the baseboards off and see if there's just like a critter that has hit the bottom.
It's possible, but I rent. I'm not doing shit.
Right, yeah. And see, I can't wait to rent. I can't wait to rent, because we've got to buy a new dishwasher.
Yeah.
We got to buy a new dishwasher. You know that's on me. That's on me to pick out the dishwasher. I say that. That's on Nicole to pick out the dishwasher. I'm going to give her the dimensions. She's got to pick it out. Then I've got to take the old one and yeet that bitch out to the fucking curb. And,
oh yeah, it's on you to do the oomph-ing.
Yeah. I'm the oompher. That's what I do. Although every year the traditional yeeting of the Christmas tree is my favorite. Is my favorite thing, because we will. We'll undecorate it, It gets handed to me, I take it out of the stand, and then I just open up the door and give that bitch a heave towards the street. And nothing brings me more. Although this year it was a little tree, and I heaved that bitch out into the middle of the road from the doorway, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get that. Hold on. Sorry. The one, I can't remember what year it was, but our neighbors were coming out and getting in their car, and they just saw the Christmas tree just go flying out towards the end of the driveway, and they were like, hey, nice throw. And I'm like, well, lots of practice eating trees.
See, that's what I love about my life with my beautiful betrothed. I can lift more than her, but not that much. To where she's like, don't pick that up. I'm like, don't worry, I won't try. She knows I'm not going to give myself a hernia. It's like, can you pick that up? No, probably not. Okay, so what do we do? I'm like, I don't know, machines, or leave it. I don't care. It's fine. I'm never going to hurt myself picking up something I might not be able to. And that's basically anything over 3 gallons of milk in one hand. Like, if it's more heavy than that, I'm like, oh, that looks like it stays there. Oh, yikes. I mean, no. Give me a back strap and no, I got shit to do.
Let me get Smith on the phone. That's usually everyone's solution. When it comes to heavy stuff, moving stuff, or construction stuff, it's, oh man, I don't know how we're going to do this. Let's call Larry. And there's a reason I don't ask people for help. It's so that they don't ask me for help, because I'm 42, and I'm tired of lifting other people's shit. Now, in certain situations, for certain people...
Have I ever asked you to lift anything that wasn't for comedy?
No, and I appreciate that about you.
Okay, well, that goes in our goddamn repertoire.
Yeah. And it is one of those. It's one of those things that's I've always appreciated about you. Is you've never asked me to help move anything unless it was funny.
No.
Carrying you to the top of a hill because you didn't think you could make it. Well, you could on my back.
That was because you were writing your own poem, possibly a sonnet, and you needed inspiration.
Yes, well, and you're the wind beneath my wings, and the
I just said, sure.
The pack on the Sherpa's back is what you are. But yeah, it's just everybody, and don't get me wrong. Again, certain people, I don't mind. Like, that's fine. I can come help. But then it's just become this thing of well, Larry can lift that. And it used to be a fun game that we played called Larry Lift That.
That was a different time.
And I was 19 through 30-something. And, again, 42, I keep strong. I'm real pleased with myself. But
that's young man strength. Young man strength is to be put on display, and it's a show. Old man strength is only to be brought out upon honest use. Like, if you really need it, that's when you bring out old man strength. But, like, there's no 42-year-old like, watch me lift this. And if you're doing that, you probably lost a couple of fingers to a gator at some point.
Yeah.
You gotta quit doing that shit.
Which is what you guys expected from me for years.
Well, not expected, but betted on.
Yeah, and I don't know who lost, but fuck you for betting against me.
I made a couple of bucks. I also fiddled with the odds a little bit, but that's just how I roll.
Well, that's fine. You know what? I never expect you to gamble with money you can't afford to lose, Zig. That's
no.
You're a smart man, and I appreciate that about you.
That's how I roll. I definitely have lost money, but I've won more than I've lost in my lifetime.
And I don't gamble because I look at that money and if I lose any, I'm like, I could have spent that on whiskey.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I think it's just like both approaches are fair as long as you accept the outcome.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of
Are we accepting outcomes?
I think so.
The
French.
That makes sense. So, we both went to the goddamn doctor. And it's so banal, but really, it isn't, because it's a different thing for everybody. We both went. Do you want to go first?
I don't know. I feel like you should go first.
Well, because there's more blood involved, or
I really want you to go first, for reasons. But I mean, we did promise the listeners, because somehow you
if
and
they
I
actually give a shit, though. That's the interesting part.
Well, but we've been talking about it for weeks, and somehow you and I ended up with our doctor appointment on the same day.
Oh God, it's so weird. It's
It
so
is.
weird, Larry.
So I want you start, because for reasons.
Okay, so this is my annual checkup. So obviously, the last one happened 15 months ago. Let that sink in. So 15 months ago, everything was, I went to a new doctor, and she is roughly my age. I like her very much. She is maybe my senior by 3 or 4 years, maybe, or possibly she's just aging like shit because she has a lot of stress and she's 3 or 4 years younger than me. It doesn't matter, but I like her very much. I'm going to a DO as opposed to an MD. Mostly because a DO is somewhere in between an actual medical professional and a shaman. And they live in that little weird area there, which I kind of enjoy because you can have a debate about shit. And I dig her. So last time I went, things were not great. Last time was my first checkup, my first annual checkup in a decade. So, we had put shit off. And she had put me on Lipitor because my cholesterol was through the roof. My blood pressure was somewhere in between oopsie and holy fuck! And I had kind of a laissez-faire. I was like, I'm sure it's fine. And then I changed my lifestyle a bit. More food, less smoking. So I'll take you through the day. Okay? That's probably the easiest way to do this. First off, it felt like I was jumping onto a plane on Pan Am in 1960, because this was the first time I was going to jump on the train and go downtown and talk to somebody who I gave a fuck about in a year. So I put on a button-down shirt. Not a fancy pants one. It was a flannel one, but a very nice flannel one. Some brand new pants. I also put on my handkerchief in my back pocket. I grabbed my pocket knife. I put it in the front. I don't need any of these things, but this is my going out stuff, which I almost never do. I can't remember the last time I did it. So it's like my pocket knife, my hanky. I got a nice shirt on. I got my nice hat on. I did my hair. I did as much as I can anymore. I just brushed it back, and I actually went out into the world. Now, I got a text message saying, before you come in, you need to pre-check in because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Sure. So I pre-check in on an app. And that was 2 days before. The day before, I got another text message saying, as soon as you get to the office, please click this link. This link will tell the staff that you are here for your 1:40 appointment, and we can check you in. Sure. So I get all the way downtown. I go up to the 11th floor, and I had not ridden an elevator in a year. This is the weird thing. Once I hit the up button, there was one other person who was going to go into the elevator with me, and I had a little twinge of, oh, what's the protocol?
Right.
Can I be next to this? And they immediately went to the back corner. I went to the front corner. I'm like, I guess this is what we do now? Just to be polite, I stared at the wall.
Yeah.
It was so weird, But I get all the way up to the top. I get not to the top, to the 11th floor. And I walk in. And outside they say, click this link. And before I can click the link, there is a woman at a like fold-out desk with a bunch of stuff on the desk. And I said, hi, I have an appointment today. She's like, what is your name? Like, my name is Adam Ziegler. She's like, you have a link, correct? I'm like, yes. Can you click it? Sure. Click. Excellent, thank you. So now what you want to do is check in with the front desk when you walk in. Like, okay. But first, here, take this. She took my temperature. She wrote my temperature down on a Post-it and handed it to me. So we've gone from the highest of high tech to over bureaucracy to here you go, here's a note to give to your teacher. None of this was possible. I'm like, did I need to like check in with the app? No, I'm actually doing the check-ins. So when you check it in, it just comes to me. I'm like, so if I would have told you that I was here, she's like, I would have done the same thing. Perfection. Thank you. So I wait in line behind a woman who's having a hard time. Another woman who says, come around to the corner. So I come around to the corner and I check in. And I like my doctor. So I legit sat in the waiting room less than 10 minutes. Like, it was fine. A woman led me to the back of a room, and her name was Megan. And I don't think that anybody who works in these places, especially in COVID, is ready for somebody who is going to be nice but also make jokes. That's probably not okay. Like, am I allowed, in your opinion, am I allowed to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely make jokes.
You sure?
Yes. Yeah. I will get to... Look, the nurses, and I see a nurse practitioner. I can see the doctor, but I've always seen the nurse practitioner because, let's face it, nurses know more than doctors, usually.
I totally believe that, correct.
And I had the nurses laughing because, not for nothing, I'm always nervous going into the doctor because, I feel fine, but I'm always afraid they're going to be like, and you've got 6 days. All right, get your orders or get your affairs in order. You've got, sorry, we misread that. 6 hours. All right.
You have anal polyp lupus. It's not good.
It's not good.
It smells weird.
And your prostate is going to fall out and demand its own name.
Your prostate is now Republican, and it goes directly to your lizard brain. You're going to start jerking off in Costco.
How's that any different than any other Tuesday?
You're not going to be aware of it. That's the issue.
Oh, no.
You're not going to do it spite or anger. You're going to do it just like out of like dementia.
I'm not gonna be hiding behind the pile of Lucky Charms anymore. I'm just going to do it in the tire aisle. No good.
Megan brings me into the actual room, and she says, "Get on the scale." We've talked about this. When you went in this time, was it digital or was it fucking analog?
I had a digital one, but that's only because they put me on the one that you use for livestock.
I had both, but they only asked me to use the digital. I don't know what's going on. There's a digital scale in this very nice building in downtown Chicago next to one that looks like a torture device from fucking 17th century France.
Uh-huh.
And she told me, she's like, this is, it's so weird. You have to step on it. It's going to say step on. And then you step off. And then touch it. Then step back on. I'm like, oh, well, I understand why you're doing the analog one. Because that's a pain in the dick. And so I do it. And she goes, what does it say? I told her. She's like, all right, step off. Do the whole thing again. I'm like, okay, what does it say now? It was 3 pounds difference. She's like, yeah, you'll have that. And that's when I realized that the analog one there might be something to it. Yeah, shit, I don't know. There's more worry about when you like weigh your fucking suitcases to get on a Delta flight than for Christ's sake, than your actual human body. But either way, it wasn't great for me. So she says, so we have our own thing. Long story very short, too late. She leaves the room, and she tells me to take off all of my clothes until my underwear. There is a gown, which is in a plastic sealed thing. She says, put that on, sit here, the doctor will be with you. okay, you just left me in a room with a lot of toys and stuff, and you told me to get naked. So first thing is, I kept my socks on in a small amount of rebel yell. Because, like, you told me to take off all my clothes except for my underpants. I'm going to keep my socks on because fuck you people.
Because my tootsies get chilly.
I weigh myself again on both scales. Because the first time I had my shoes on, I had my pocket knife, I had my cell phone, I had my wallet, I had all this fucking garbage. And you know what? I saved myself 3 or 5 pounds, depending on the analog or digital.
Uh-huh.
Either way, it was still 25 pounds heavier than 15 months ago. And you know what? I consider that a badge of honor, because fuck everything.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you wait, and then the DO comes in, and she's such a nice woman. I had told the woman who, the first one who I talked to, the nurse, she took my blood pressure. This was legit the first time in 15 years my blood pressure was in the acceptable level.
Huh.
I don't know why. I usually run like borderline to, oh my god, hot.
Yeah.
Now she's like, no, you're 122 over 74. Like, what does that mean? She's like, that's great. Like, cool. They usually tell me, oh, we'll see what the doctor says about this. Like, that's what I usually get. So that was fine. Maybe the not smoking, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I also told that woman and the doctor when she walked in how I had quit smoking to take the weight off of the fact that I had gained 20 pounds in 15 months. I bought all new shorts in the summer. I bought all new pants in the winter. I know. I've earned these pounds. I'm a fat fuck currently. Jesus Christ. And I'm not the only one in the world. Some of us have just gotten fat because we just, Christ, it was the apocalypse. We figured, I might need this if I have to go out into the wasteland and fight a midget for goddamn gasoline with a hammer. I might need the weight. I might need the protection. It's like a leather sleeve. So, where am I at? So the doctor comes in. And I do like this woman very much. She's a little touchy-feely. By the way, when you go to you see the nurse first, and she takes your blood pressure, she weighs you, blah, blah, blah. And she says, are there any changes to your anything? And changes to your health, changes to your diet, blah, blah, blah. This one says, every time, are there any changes to your depression level? Do you feel hopeless? And that's why I went back both times. I'm like, I don't want to know what Dr. Jonas is thinking about. Because if that's like what she has the nurse tell me, I'm like, Jesus Christ, she might be able to give me some good drugs if I ever need them. So I walk in and the woman comes in. And then we just start talking. And I told the nurse that I quit smoking so that Dr. Jonas would know that I quit smoking so that we could start the whole event with, good for you!
Uh-huh.
Do you feel depressed? No, I quit asking. It's weird. I'm fine. How many of your patients want to kill themselves? Jesus Christ. No. Well, Larry, his 4 fingers. Take 4. But how many? No, I'm fine. Are you okay? Should we ask you?
I just want to make sure I'm not... see who's in the same boat as me. Do you know how hard this job is?
It's probably why my blood pressure was so low, because I didn't have to lie. Because I'm like, I haven't had a cigarette in 11 months, Doc, and I knew she was going to be like, gold star for you. You're good for you. Your health. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we just talked, but she was like, I'm like, and that's why, I quit smoking during the pandemic. I gained some pounds. She's like, well, maybe we take your blood and we're going to check your thyroid. And she asked me about my diet, which is actually very good. I do most of my own cooking. And my diet is fairly decent comparatively, and she wants to talk thyroid. And after a while, I had like, Doc, we have to stop. I promise you, I gained these pounds. I earned them. I bought a fucking exercise machine. I'm using it. I'm actually gonna start dealing with it. I understand it. What I have to talk about is the fact that my asshole hurts.
The important part is, my asshole hurts.
She's like, well, no, you put on some weight, but it seems like you're being healthy. You're getting healthier. You know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you want to cut down on the alcohol. I'm like, I'm not cutting down the alcohol. You can come get me in my own fucking bedroom before I'll cut down the alcohol. But what I have to talk about is my asshole hurts and sometimes I bleed out of it. She's like, holy Christ.
Let me get a finger up there or two.
Or a tongue depressor, maybe. And a headlight.
We're just going to get, as Kyle Kinane said, get some batteries for that little flashlight. We're going to be here a while.
Or a tongue depressor and a headlight, Larry.
Is that what they did?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, buddy. Oh, no.
You know what? I was going to be a little bit weird about saying this on the podcast, but I might as well because it's true. And most people, not most, but a lot of people will. I got the hemorrhoids. I got some right on the outside, which only pop up every once in a bit, but I got some on the inside, which are also called piles. And that can mean that sometimes, for me, it's only about twice a month, you get really, really red blood right in the goddamn toilet bowl.
Uh-huh.
And it makes you go, holy shit, I'm going to die. And the answer is you're not. But what happens is that you tell your doctor this the first time when you're 42, which, by the way, is the answer to life, the universe, and everything if you're Douglas Adams. We're almost not there anymore. But you tell her that, there's every once in a while my asshole burns and I got things going on. She goes, it's probably nothing. After she listens to your chest, she says, that sounds good. She looks in your ear. She goes, you got a lot of wax. I say, thank you. And then she goes, we're going to look up into the thing. And she knows I'm not okay with it. She goes, would you like to bend over this table or would you like to lay on your side? And you look directly in this woman's eyes and you say, it's your party, dealer's choice. And she's cool enough to giggle a little bit, goes, get on your side, stupid. I'm like, great. But the biggest problem I had with this whole situation was that a woman who was roughly my age, mid-40s, didn't ask me to pull my own underwear down. I'm wearing like the gown with that's open in the back.
Uh-huh. She
just goes, I'm going to take these down now. And pulls down my boxer briefs over my ass so she can look up my butt. And I was like, oh, I really wish she would have just said, take these down. She just like gently said, I'm going to do this. And she pulled them down, which I know she's just doing her best, and she knew I was uncomfortable with it. But I was like, oh, God, that's almost cell block D creepy. Like something. And yeah, there was a fucking light, there was a tongue depressor, there was a lubed up finger. She went, you got nothing else to worry about, pal. It just kind of sucks. Thank you.
You know what? I would take that diagnosis.
I had to take it.
Yeah.
All one half finger.
Anything else?
Then I went to TGI Fridays.
Because sometimes it's nice to treat yourself.
Literally after that, I walked out 1 block away is a TGI Fridays, and it was the first time I sat inside a goddamn bar, even though there's like one stool on either three sides of this island bar, in a TGI fucking Fridays, and I had loaded potato skins and a beer and a shot. And then I left there, and I went to a Stan's Donuts because I was killing time, and I had some coffee and a Long John. I went, oh, it's time to go back home. But they took a bunch of blood, and long story short, I should be dying, but I'm not. I'm actually much healthier than I was last 15 months ago for my annual
That's awesome.
physical.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure how much of that was funny, but that was my day.
That, you know what? Sometimes we just need a slice of life. So
long story short, none of it was funny.
You heard me laughing. So I will give you mine.
Mm-hmm.
I go in. I was not dressed up. I was wearing my Goatman Lives t-shirt, a denim jacket, and black ripped black jeans with rips in them, and some slip-on shoes because I knew they were going to ask me to take my shoes off. They brought me in. I wore a regular mask, even though it fucks up the beard.
Just like a hockey mask, or
Yeah, a hockey mask with another mask over it that says "My dick wants to buy you a beer."
because art.
Yeah, I'm making a statement, but yeah, the nurse brings me back and she puts me, like I said, on the livestock scale, and I step up and she goes, "Huh? You know what? No, just step off there again." And she reaches up, zeroes it out, and she goes, "Step back up there." So I get back up, step off, and she looks at one of the other nurses. She goes, "Is this thing on the fritz? What's going on with this thing?" And the other nurse was like, "Yeah, we just had it calibrated. It's fine." She goes, "Okay, step back up there." So I get up, and she goes, "You do not look like you weigh that much."
Oh, can I get a poundage?
I don't know if I want to say it.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay, what was yours?
$1.88, and the last time I was weighed was $1.62.
Well, my last annual review was 10 years ago. That was the last time I went in for an annual checkup.
Okay.
I have been in for other stuff, like I had pneumonitis, which is near pneumonia, but they caught it before that. And then I went in for one other. So I thought I had a thing on my tongue. It kind of freaked me out. Turns out it was just acid reflux causing some stuff.
A little sore, a little trouble.
Yeah. So, no big deal. So, but that was, they'd had weighed me before. So you said $1.88?
Yeah, that's easily the biggest I've ever been. Yeah, but I also don't lift weights, man. I'm a prick. Yeah.
And here's this is not the heaviest I've ever been.
Okay.
And I have lost some weight since going there, but
quit quantifying it.
I'm 270.
Nice. Most of that is spite and malice and just Thor.
Yeah, no, for real. And that's, like, they get me in there, and the nurse is asking me, she's like, "So you're still smoking a little bit?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "But, I'm cutting back." And I am trying to quit. I've cut back, and I've got my little system to the point where I'm going to get to the point where I quit. Because I know it's healthy for me. And I figure if anyone can quit, if you can quit, then so can I.
Yeah, I will never tell you to do it or to not, but I will help you if you want, but it is what it is, yeah.
So
I still could easily go back to it.
Yeah.
I am one fail away from buying a pack every goddamn day.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Yeah, I am not.
Well, and I've quit off and on over the years, and I quit for a long time, and then I pick it back up, and I want it to be, when I quit, the next time I quit, I want it to be the last time I quit. You know what I mean?
It will be forever.
So, the nurse takes my blood pressure, and she goes, "You know what, let me try that again." And she takes it again, and I had told her, I was like, because Nicole has high blood pressure. She's in hypertension. We had to get a BP monitor for the house, and she was taking hers, and it was, it was always high, and me, it was like 120 over 80, 119 over, and so I'm telling the nurse, and I'm like, but I get nervous in the doctor's office. And she's like, white coat syndrome, we take account for that. She's like, all right. She goes, but you are, you're a big boy, so don't be surprised. And she takes it, and she's like, huh. She takes it again, she goes, huh. Good for you. I said, what is it? And she goes, well, the first time I took it was 126 over 82. But that's you being nervous. And she's like, the second time she took it, it was when she was like, huh, and she took it again, it was down to like 124 over 80. And then, so she's like, that's good. She's like, especially if you're nervous coming to the doctor, that's good. So, she's like, all right, Terry will be in a minute, the nurse practitioner. And Terry comes in.
We're on a first name basis now. Terry's coming in. Terry, what Terry does is Terry just looks at you and says, maybe you want this kind of a tattoo. And then he leaves.
Well, that's the thing. My nurse practitioner, she's always been Terry. Like, I called her by her last, I actually tried to be formal with her, and she's like, my name's Terry. You'll call me Terry. And this is 10 years ago, or no, more now, almost 20 years. Because I established care with this office. So, and she's in her 60s. She's coming up on retirement. And I was like, whoa, you can't retire until I die. And she's like, well, I'd like to say you'll die before I retire, but the way things are looking...
We're rolling those dice, bitch!
But, yeah, she comes in and we're talking, and the nurse is in there, and we're all having a conversation. I'm making jokes, and I'm a giggle. I'm a chuckle farm. I make myself giggle, I make them giggle, and they're like, hey, we want to get one more BP rating. And so the third one was like 119 over like 79 or something. It was like super in the good range. And
you're basically a parrot. Like, at this point, we're not sure if this is the blood pressure of a human being.
Yeah, but they're like, there's no way
so bad.
There's no way someone your size is supposed to have blood pressure this good. And I was
that's every time a elephant's heart beats, it's like once every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I am the size of a small oxen. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull a plow. And so they Terry sends her out. They do. She does hit my knee with the little hammer, and it doesn't move. And I was like, you're gonna have to hit it harder. And she's like, okay. I was like, you remember this, right? She's like, oh, right. And she comes back like she's driving a goddamn railroad spike and hits my knee, and that's when it flips. She goes, but you've had them both reconstructed. I was like, yeah. And so we do the whole, 12-point inspection. We're checking oil and everything, and she's like, you're fine. Like, I got a weird thing on my toe, and she was like, that's a wart. I'm going to send you to podiatry. They're going to take care of it. I was like, cool. Okay. I was like, she goes, does it bother you? I said, no, that's why I've not come in for it. It doesn't fucking bother me. But I figure I'm here, and I was like, oh, also I snore? And my wife wanted me to mention I snore, and she's like, yeah, fucking lose 20 pounds and don't drink so much. And I was like, oh, she goes, that's my recommendation. She goes, continue to cut back on your smoking to the point where you quit, obviously. She goes, you know that, you're not stupid, quit smoking, it will kill you. She goes, but lose 20 pounds, drink less. And I was like, that's exactly what I diagnosed myself with. She goes, yeah, well, you're not stupid. She's like, look, you're a beefy guy. She's like, you're all chest and shoulders and arms. She's like, but you could lose, and she's poking around on my abdomen. She's like, you're solid, but you got just a little bit of squish down here, don't you? She's like, you got a little bit of squish. And I was like, yeah, I got some squish. She was, and I'm sure that makes you cuddly, but you really need to lose at least 20 pounds. And let's start there.
That's what she does. That woman's OnlyFans. That's all she does. She says, you're a little cuddly around the middle, aren't you? But I still love you.
Biscuits and gravy? Give me up, lady. I don't know.
Put your hardware accounts, aren't you? It's okay, but you're gonna die early. It's okay. Thump, 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 thump.
So she's like, we're gonna send you downstairs for your blood work. She goes, she goes, have you been fat? I said, yeah, I haven't eaten since about 9:20 last night. She's like, cool. And this is getting up on about 10:20. She was like, so you're about 13 hours from eating. I said, no, I've had some water and had some coffee this morning. And she's like, oh, how much coffee? I said, well, I only did about a cup, But what was great, though, she's like, how much do you drink? And I was like, in a day? And she was like, yeah, let's start with I said, okay, I do 3 days sober right now because I know that's better for me. I got to do 3 days sober. She's like, all right. I said, now, Wednesday nights I might have a couple glasses of whiskey, no more than 2 fingers in those glasses. She's like, yeah. I said, and Thursday night I might have a couple glasses of wine with dinner. She's like, okay. I said, but then there's Friday and Saturday. And she's like, and how many do we have? And I went, I don't know. She's like, oh, can you please estimate? I was like, well, she's like, oh, are you, okay. How many is, and I was like, are we talking beers or hard liquor? And she was,
that's the goddamn thing. Please, go ahead.
No, you're right, because I'm like, I don't know, Terry. I just pour until I'm happy. And she's like, okay. She goes, do you smoke marijuana at all? And I was like, on occasion, I usually do, if I'm going to do anything, do edibles. She's like, could you please switch to that? That's better for you. She's like, if you need something, do that instead of drink. Cut. She goes, to me, I'm all ready. I was like, well, not for nothing. On a good night, I can put down a 5th of whiskey. And she was like, oh, honey, no. No. She goes, we're definitely doing your blood work. We're going to figure this out. So I told you, they actually got back to me, because when we discussed it on Thursday, we were like, hey, we need to save some stuff for the podcast. Mm-hmm. So I got my blood work back, dude.
Oh, I have not.
I got mine back.
Okay.
And they had called me before, like, they called me and they were like, hey, your podiatry appointment for that thing on your toe. And they also got me signed up for my first COVID shot. I just don't know, they're going to call me and be like, all right, come on this day at this time. Because I am in the current pool because I'm a fat smoker. And that's...
Nice!
Yeah. So, thanks for... it did me one thing good.
I'm not breaking your balls, brother. I'm just saying, nice, you get your shot.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was like, hey, being a fat smoker finally paid off in my life. So
the blood work.
The blood work. They called back like 15 minutes after giving me my appointment, and the desk girl was like, hey, we got your blood work back. And I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, the lab came up and hand delivered. She's like, we usually just get stuff the next day. Via, like, just comes in through the computer from downstairs. Usually just enter it. And I was like, okay. She's like, they brought it up, they hand delivered everything. Now it's in the computer, so we have it on record, obviously. But they wanted to bring it up and discuss it with Terry right now. And I was like,
so...
Fuck. And she's like, yeah, you're 42, you're a heavy drinker, you're a smoker, and you have the blood work of a 24-year-old athlete.
Fuck off, you goddamn lepton.
I was like, I start laughing, and she's like, they brought it up because there is no way that someone... She's like, we get it, we all saw you lift weights, you do some stuff. She's like, you're not, like, we all saw your records. You are 270. You're the height that you are. Your BMI.
You're like 5'7", 5'8".
5'8", depending on what shoes I'm wearing. 5'8", 5'9".
Okay.
That's the thing. I used to be 5'9".
Depending on my shoes, that's dude. Don't tell me about the mantra of a short man.
No, I know, but like. No.
Hang on your fucking feet, stupid.
Yeah.
Hang on your flat fucking feet.
No, I used to be 5'9", but then now suddenly I've like flat-footed I was 5'9", and now I'm not, and that is funny.
You put ass and it's compressing your spine.
It's exactly what's happening. But she was like, yeah, we all just, she's like, the nurses were looking at your charts, and Terry came out and looked, and she said, Terry just laughed and went, of course. Of course. She's like, oh, this is what we've seen out of him for years. Is, blood pressure is perfect. My labs are that of a man half my age, apparently. She's like, there's no way, the way you drink and all the things that you do and your lifestyle, that you should be as healthy as you are. She didn't say goddamn. She said, like, you're a gosh darn anomaly. And I was like,
Well,
I'll take it.
Karma's going to grab you, pal. So it's just going to be like you're going to die in a hold my beer, watch this gasoline, kerosene, bonfire accident.
Yeah, we've always known that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my trip to the doctor. Please lose 20 pounds. We want to see what happens.
That was what I got to. Like, you mean back where I was before?
Yeah.
Because I still keep all of my old clothes. I'm like, I'm going to fit them back in those at some point.
Yeah. I would like to one day. But there we are. That's our trip to the doctor.
Mm-hmm. The woman who took my blood, she jabbed around in my left arm for quite a bit, and she couldn't find anything, and then she tried to blame me. She's like, how much water have you drank? I'm like, I know it's in there. The vein you're looking for, I've been using it all day.
And see, I've got great veins. I get complimented on them anytime someone has to take blood.
Everything on you is oversized for your height.
Right? I'm like a pit bull. I'm like a pit bull. I've got the body and head of a regular sized dog, but just those short little legs. But
yeah. Shoulders, dome, ego, all that huge, but it's just your goddamn limbs.
Yeah, well, I'm like a mini oxen, is what I am.
Yeah, a mini herd of.
Yes.
Jeez. So yeah, I had the biggest problem was that she played with my hemorrhoid with a little bit of Vaseline on a finger, because I don't know how I felt about that.
Well, apparently you liked it because you're questioning.
Well, no, just like, how do I ask my wife to work around it to get up there? That's and that just doesn't seem fair to her.
You know what? Don't have her work around it. Pain is close to pleasure.
Dude, if it pops, we pay a lot of money for sheets. We pay a lot of money. You might as well enjoy yourself when you sleep, so you don't want to put anal blood all over those.
Well,
again,
depending on your kink.
Regrettably not my kink.
Hey buddy, what did we learn today?
I'll tell you what. I learned a lot of things. I learned that you can't help me find the smell in my own place. I learned that we both happily have the exact same opinion when it comes to the doctor in our middle age, which is, hey, this is what I'm doing. I don't feel the need to lie to you anymore, nor do I feel the need to impress you anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not going to stop, if that has anything.
No, my Dio said, maybe we should quit on the drinking, and I said, maybe shut the fuck up. And I did learn, sorry, the dog is on my lap. I did learn, if I'm totally honest, that I honestly think that you and I are doing just fine. Everything that every doctor tells you, people with number or letters after their name, they're just doing their best. They don't know everything. Utilize common sense. Just utilize common sense.
Yeah.
You and I on paper, we should be dead.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but I apparently am doing great.
Yeah, don't ask me to get esoteric after a couple of drinks because I lose my mind. What did you learn, pal?
Pretty much what you just said.
Say it better than I did, because I went off on a ramble.
We're doing fine. And we don't need to change. We're perfect how we are. I don't know.
I have a dog the dog's trying to crawl in through my face.
With our special guest host, little Quaddy.
Yeah, he's losing his mind. All right. Sorry, I love you.
I love you back.
Like the basket. Kill this dog.
best parts about hanging out with these guys. God damn it, son of a bitch, motherfuck.